Welcome back everybody to Forza Motorsport. So we're continuing on with the Daily Races Tour, and this time we're in the Luxury and Horsepower Championship. So yeah, our first race is going to be at Laguna Seca, but let's see what cars we can choose from. Right, so we've got got a fair good amount of choice here, all the way right across. So yeah, we've got we've got a few Audis. We've got the RS e-tron GT, RS6 Avant, RS5 Coupe, and the RS7 Sportback. I say my favourites out of those ones would probably be the RS5, RS6, and RS e-tron. The RS7 Sportback's decent and all that, but as you can see, it weighs quite a lot. So does the RS6 Avant at the end of the day, but you know that has the practicality of an estate to offset it. RS4 Avant is decent, but yeah, it's somewhat outclassed compared to the others. Same horsepower and torque, as it has the same engine as the RS5, but weirdly enough it is actually a little lighter. I did not think that, so maybe the RS4 I prefer over the RS5 at the end of the day. But regardless, then we got a brace of BMWs, two of which have the god-awful grills, so we'll ignore those. But then it's got the 2018 BMW M5. But since we obviously had a whole tour about BMWs and I've used BMWs numerous times in the last few weeks, I'm going to avoid them for today. Then we got a bunch of Cadillacs, with the CT5V Blackwing being my favourite of the bunch. But the CTS-V sedan is pretty damn good as well. As you can see, it's hardly a underpowered vehicle. Then we've got the CT4V Blackwing, which is a V6 twin turbo, and then the ATS-V, which I'm not a particular fond of, quite frankly, either the looks or performance. Then we've got the Infiniti Q50 Eau Rouge, named after the Eau Rouge corner on Spa. Fantastic car. It's basically a four-door, the saloon version of the Nissan GTR. Same engine, same kind of power, all-wheel drive system. Because obviously Infiniti is a Nissan brand, so yeah, if you've always wanted a Nissan GTR with 2 extra doors, then that's the car for you. Then we've got the Jaguar XFRS, big V8, supercharged, and yeah, quite weighty, quite old as well in comparison to most of the cars here. Then we've got the Lexus LC500, which I think is a highly underrated car. No, it's nowhere near as powerful or as fast as its body might suggest, but I still like its V8. I do like the power and torque it's got. Yes, it weighs quite a fair bit, which is the big no-no with this car, quite frankly, but everything else is pretty good. Then we've got the Maserati Ghibli SQ4, a decent saloon car, but extremely underwhelming in comparison to its predecessor, the Quattroporte, which is a car that I really am dying to have back on a Forza game. So yeah, probably won't bother with the Ghibli. Then we got a bunch of Mercedes, the MG GT 4-door coupe, which yeah, looks like it's a little bit on stilts and weighs not much more, weighs quite a lot actually at £4,500. Then the AMG E63S, I think this was the first E-Class to have the all-wheel drive system. Again, more than £4,500, but even more power, well no, actually less power. So yeah. And then we've got the C63S Coupe, which is decent, not the most charismatic of engines, but decent enough. And then finally we got the Porsche Panamera Turbo. Ugly as sin, but pretty damn sharpish, and yeah, for something that weighs nearly £4,400, the braking and acceleration is pretty damn good, quite frankly. So yeah, what are we gonna pick? Preferably something that we haven't used before in a race. Now there are obviously some Audis that we've not used before, but I think they're a bit of an obvious choice. Likes of Cadillac are a little bit out there, to be honest. They're not the obvious choice because you know everyone says that American cars are rubbish and everything, so therefore why would you pick one? But the CT5V Blackwing and the CT4V Blackwing are pretty damn good saloon cars overall, to be honest. And even the older CTS-V is pretty good as well. Q50 is a highly tempting car because it has a huge amount of power, doesn't weigh anywhere near as much as most of the cars here, and yeah, has that all-wheel drive system as well. Jag, not really, it's too heavy and it's on the older side of things. Lexus LC is a very tempting car because it has the You know, it has the looks of a supercar, but it's not quite. But it could very well be easily upgraded to become like that. And then the Mercedes are again far too heavy, and the Porsche is too ugly. So it's quite frankly a toss-up between the Infiniti and the Lexus, to be honest. And I know they're not the obvious choices to go for. We'll go for the Infiniti, I think, purely because I have already bought the Lexus before, so I feel like I've used that at some point or another on this game, whereas obviously the Q50 I have not yet used on this game so far, so we'll go for that. It's a pretty rapid car, and yeah, we can't change the colour unfortunately, so yeah, can we actually just quickly view it? Yep, pretty sure I have reviewed this in the past, but yeah, it's a fantastic saloon car. It's just a shame that it's kind of underrated and not easily available, to be honest, but still, let's get it. That's 123,000 credits. But I have been saving up somewhat, so we can do these championships without having to worry about any money. And as per usual, we will start this championship off with the car in stock form, so it can currently do 0 to 60 in 3.781 seconds, 0 to 108.6 seconds, and going to a top speed of 218 miles an hour. Don't think the top speed is all that believable, but the acceleration certainly is. So we're on the full Laguna Seca for 5 laps. So let's see what we can do. Now, typically this is quite a crowded circuit, because it is quite narrow in a lot of places, so yeah, I imagine with these big saloon cars we're gonna have a bit of a traffic issue, but hopefully for not too long, and we can hopefully make the most of any chaos that results.
This is a relatively narrow track. Your best
yes, I know it's a relatively narrow track, I've already mentioned that. Right. Let's ditch the fuel. And let's go. So we will have the launch with this car, with the all-wheel drive system. Whereas obviously most cars here aren't all-wheel drive. That Jaguar and the Cadillac in front of me certainly won't be. The BMW M5 and the Maserati are though. Good launch. Instantly get caught up in traffic, the Cadillac braking. So I'm too busy looking at my screen. For some reason I don't have any volume. I'm going to have to turn my TV off and on again because it is not producing any noise, which is not helpful when you're trying to race, because I like to hear the cars. No, that's still not working for some reason. Well, I hope you guys can hear it. I can't. We'll just have to try and concentrate on the race and hopefully get that sorted out for the next race. Yeah, this is a really good handling car. And yeah, as we saw from many of the cars on that we could choose from, most were well in excess of £4,000, and even though this is a car that is in excess of £4,000, it's nowhere near as heavy as the other ones. Look at nearly £500 less than the likes of some of those Mercedes and Audis. It's kind of mad really that they are as heavy as they are. And yet, granted, this is a much older car than those vehicles, you know, it's from 2014. It's still kind of insane that a car like this, which is hardly small, you know, it still has all-wheel drive, still has a sizable engine, is £500 less than a car from 5, 6, 7 years later. aren't that much more powerful, if at all, really. So, yeah. No idea where that came from. I expected the all-wheel drive system to keep things in check, but not so. I'd like to say how good the car sounds, but again, I cannot hear anything right now. Kind of difficult to judge your speed when you can't hear your car. We do have a sizable lead over 8th, so we're not going to be struggling with anyone behind us. So we're trying to gain on those in front. I'm not sure the fact that we're on an 11-year-old car is helping us here. This is based on the Nissan GTR, it is based on obviously the slightly older version. It's not based on the likes of the Black Edition or anything like that. Puzzling why the noise has vanished. It's working perfectly fine. Not long before I started recording. I've caught somewhat to 6th place. Seemingly have the edge in terms of speed, so that is something we're going to have to look at when it comes to upgrading. Now obviously we can gain acceleration in numerous ways. Improve traction, reduce weight, gearbox. The most obvious one is in terms of doing the engine. But I guess it all depends on how much PI we have to play with when it comes to upgrading. If we'd gone for a B-class car, then obviously we would have had a lot more room to play with in that regard, but also means you're at a disadvantage to start with.
Total time penalty is about half a second.
Just a bit too far inwards. Easily done on that corner because it is numerous elements in such a short space of time. As if you are in this view, it is somewhat difficult to see the boundaries that you're dealing with. Definitely better whatever's up front in the corners and under braking, but straight on speed we are outclassed. It's a Cadillac. This will be one of the V8 versions though. I don't think the CT4 will be that good. Settle for 7th. Oh, to be honest, I've come in worse positions in a first race in one of these championships, so it's not bad, and we have at least been able to identify a weak spot with this car, and that is just acceleration, really. So yeah, but there we go, 7th place to start with. It's going to give us 18 points to start the championship off with. So let's get to the upgrade screen. Hopefully I can sort out my sound issues before we do. But yeah, let's get to the upgrade screen and yeah, make this car that a little bit better. Right, so I basically had to unplug my TV completely, which then did interrupt the recording. So therefore this episode I'm gonna have to splice together basically, but you won't see that hopefully. So yeah, right. So let's see what we can do with this car in terms of upgrades. So yeah, we don't have a huge amount of PI to play with, as you can see, only 37, which is obviously not all that much. So yeah, I think we'll do brakes, lower it a little bit, knock out some of that weight to improve our acceleration. Give us slightly better grip up front and in the rear, because we did see the rear step out, so I'll make those tyres that bit wider. We'll knock out even more weight by making the driveline lighter. And can we afford to give it a little bit of extra power? It gives us 578. 581, 576, 580. That's a nice round number, so remember valves. Oh, no. Yeah, we'll go 385 and we'll just knock the driveline back. There we go. Yeah, now we've got 585 horsepower, so that's an increase of 25. We weigh nearly 200 pounds less, so that's pretty good. And yeah, we've still got 50-50 weight distribution on top of all of that, plus better brakes, wider tyres and lower suspension. So yeah, pretty decent amount of upgrades there. Obviously it's not a huge amount because we didn't have much in the way of PI to play with, but it's about as good as you're going to get pretty much with that level of PI. So yeah, we're now doing 0 to 60 in just over 3.5 seconds. We're now doing 0 to 100 in less than 8 seconds, and we can now do a reported 221 at the top end, but I don't quite believe this car can do that. But still, we're on a circuit where we can get up to a good rate of speed, and that is Road America for 3 laps. So yeah, I like the circuit quite a lot, to be honest. So hopefully we can do well here. It's a good test of acceleration, speed and handling.
Some curbs here at Road America have an uneven construction that produces a serious rumble effect that can unsettle the car on acceleration.
At least I can hear the car now, so I shouldn't be at a disadvantage in that regard. Right, let's lop out some fuel. Let's get it down to 30% again. Right, so let's go. think I've done Road America at night time, so this should be an interesting first time experience. Really good off the line. That Jaguar XF has ditched his rear wing. Definitely feels that bit faster. It's always good to reduce weight on a car while increasing its power. That additional horsepower is made all the more effective. Brakes coming in handy to slow this car down. Quite a lot of momentum there. We're already in a better position than we were in the last race when we finished. Does not feel like it wants to step out as much as it did last time. And got that sudden bout of oversteer on Laguna. A pretty good handling car to start with, but now it feels like we do have the power to match it. Certainly gaining on fourth. And pulling away from sixth. Cadillac, although up front he's actually better than us in handling terms. Which is weird, being a Cadillac. Oh dear. Speaking of Cadillac, we lost on 5th place. almost lost our place. We've gained it back obviously now, but a whole heap of time over 4th, where obviously we are regaining a lot of that on the straight, but they do have the edge on the handling front. Gets unsettled and you end up losing speed anyway, so there's no real need to do it. Settle for 5th. At least it's top 5 and an improvement over last time, but I would have liked to at least gotten 4th. But even though we comfortably have the fastest car on the straights, it's just not quite the case when it comes to the handling, which is despite the fact that we have well more in the way of PI, which obviously means that we have a higher upgraded car. But yeah, clearly that ATS has just really piled it into the handling and said to hell with anything else, because it did obviously have a big rear wing on, probably had a front splitter as well, so yeah, we just could not compete with that Cadillac in the handling department. But still, does mean that we have improved over the last race, and also means we've now moved up to 6th place overall. So we're level pegging with 5th place for points. We're only 2 points behind 4th, but we are quite a sizable 8 points behind 3rd, 9 points behind 2nd, and an insurmountable 15 points behind 1st. So yeah, still kind of everything to play for, but not in the best of ways, quite frankly, because we are quite some way behind. So yeah, but hopefully in the 3rd and 4th race of this championship we'll do even better. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.